Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm here to talk about my personal 2022 goals and some business goals as well. I have been sharing my personal goal journey here on YouTube for the last few years, and it is one of my favorite things to be able to sit down and tell you all about my goals, what action steps I've chosen, what milestones I'm picking, and all of the things that I am working towards in any given year. And it's time for a new year. It is time for a brand new set of goals. If you are new here and do not know, I use the Cultivate What Matters power sheets to help me set my goals. This tool changed my life. The prep work can be a little bit intimidating. There are pages and pages of really thoughtful questions and exercises to help you determine what's important to you and what you want to focus on in the upcoming year. And for the fourth year in a row, something has come out of the prep work that I did not think was going to be a focus in the new year, and then vice versa. Something I thought I was going to focus on actually didn't come out at all, and so I decided it wouldn't be a focus for the year. But at the end of the day, you get to pick whatever goals are important to you to focus on in the year, and there is no right number of goals. Now, the Power Sheets does have the opportunity for you to set 8 goals, and that is how many I've chosen to have this year, but you'll notice this year, some of them are a little bit smaller and more specific than I've done in years past. In years past, I've set kind of more big overarching goals and then kind of broken things down quarterly, and I am still planning to set some quarterly goals. That video will be coming soon for Q1, but some of my annual goals are a lot more specific than they have been in the past. So last thing before we jump into it, you'll notice this with the first goal, but I have decided to include my business goals in my Power Sheets. This was something that I have been debating for the last month or two. I have always done it because my business, Plan with Laken, has always been a side business, has always been outside of my corporate 9-to-5 job. But as of November, I now work full-time for myself. And so I thought, do I want to put my business goals somewhere else and keep my Power Sheets strictly personal? And I decided, at least for this year, at least for now, I'm gonna keep them in there because they've helped me thus far, and I know that it will require more breakdowns outside of the Power Sheet. And I have a whole plan or system that I'm going to try to do all of that. If you watched my 2022 planner lineup video, I talked about my work planner and where I'm gonna break down things in that planner. So the Power Sheets business goals will be a little bit more high level, but I'm still going to incorporate them because I think that it will still help me stay balanced with all the things that I have going on and keep the business things that I'm focusing on at the forefront of my mind. So let's get into it. The order that I have my goals in is just in Roy G. Biv. I put the stickers down in Roy G. Biv order, and then I match up the goals that I feel like go well with the sticker colors. So the first goal is my first business related goal, and that is to reach my Plan with Laken revenue goal. So I have decided to set a revenue goal for the business this year. I don't typically set number related goals, especially one like this where revenue is within my control, but it's also not. Like the number of people that purchase from me or the number of people that sign up for Patreon is really like not totally in my control, but it is something that a lot of my actions that I'm gonna take this year are working towards that goal. So I decided to set a numerical goal, and then I am breaking that down quarterly, and then again, breaking that down monthly. And so I will have monthly and quarterly revenue goals as well that I'm working towards. And it's something that I'm excited about. I've never kind of set a numerical goal like this, and I think that it will be a way for me to stay motivated. I also know myself, and I know that if we get halfway through the year and that revenue goal seems really, really unattainable, I'm not gonna give up on my business, right? My business is now my full-time job, and I'm not just gonna stop working on it and working on revenue if I'm not gonna hit that goal. So that's the other thing that makes me feel good about setting this numerical goal, is I know it's not something I would give up on if I realize halfway through the year it was over ambitious. Or even vice versa, it could happen the other way. We get halfway through the year and I'm way surpassing it. I'm still not gonna give up and stop working for the rest of the year. So the next business related goal, the next goal on my list, is implement business systems and routines. So for the last year or so, I've added a lot of new things into my business. Patreon, one-on-one coaching, all kinds of things, and a lot of things about those are very manual processes. I do a lot of things very manually, and that's very time consuming for me. And this year, I don't mind putting in the hours. Like, I am ready to work on the business. You know, you've seen all those jokes that you quit a 9-to-5 to work 24/7. Like, I don't want to work 24/7, but I'm ready to work hard, but that's not how I want to live my life forever. And especially, you'll see a goal we get down later on the list, as things in our personal lives change. Like, I want to be able to have those business systems and routines in place so that I can sustain my business without working as many hours. I also want to mention that when I was going through the Power Sheets prep work, I actually kind of grouped my goals up at first into 5 categories, and I kind of put things together. For example, those 2 business things were together, and I was going to call it like build a sustainable, impactful business or something like that. And as I kind of reflected on my 5 goals, this was about a week ago, I decided actually that I wanted to break them down even further. I'll mention a little bit later which other goals I was going to put together and how I've decided to break them out. But the first example of that is the business goals. I just figured it would be more beneficial for me to see these goals broken up, and it will be easier for me to kind of look at the goals individually and see how they're going rather than like at a business, right? Maybe halfway through the year, I'm crushing my revenue goal, but I have not been spending enough time on the systems and routines. Then I can kind of fluctuate that a little bit and change my focus. Whereas if I group them together, I might feel like, oh, my business goals are going great because I'm hitting my revenue goal, but if the systems and routines are not going as well, I may like not be able to see that as clearly. And it makes even more sense when we get to some of the other goals. So the next goal on my list is related to relationships, and I wrote to spend time with friends and family. I've talked about this before, but one of the struggles I have had is trying to come up with like these really beautiful, eloquent goals and really like fun phrases and like looking up words and making it feel really like special, and not being just really specific about what it is that I want. And I've talked about other examples of this with my goals in the past, but here is another one. I originally had this goal as like relationships, or like it was like connecting and thoughtful. I had like, those were some of the words I had tossed around. And then when it came down to it, there were really 2 pieces of it that were important to me. And so I broke it up into 2 goals, and I just was really frank with what the words were of what I wanted to get out of it. And that was to spend time with my friends and family. Like, that's what I want to do more of, because when I do that, it makes me so happy, and it will help those relationships, and I will connect more. But really, at the end of it, what I want to focus on this year is time. Now, that might also stem from the fact that we haven't been able to spend as much time with people in the last 2 years. And obviously in person, this will focus a lot more on my New York City friends. I don't have any New York City family, so New York City friends, but I also mean it in the sense of like calling my family. Like, pick up the freaking phone and call your family. Texting is great for keeping up a regular kind of cadence, as well as like making plans. But like when you want to like grow a relationship, like pick up the phone and call your family. So that's what I'm trying to capture with that goal. Then the other relationship goal that I broke out of that goal, so I split it into spend time with friends and family, was all about birthdays. So I called it develop a birthday gift and card system. I am not good at this, and I want to be better about it. I want to send them in advance. I want to send thoughtful gifts and not just like order something because I want it to arrive by their birthday. Like, I want to be more thoughtful about cards and gifts. And also going into this year, Sam and I have started doing joint things. So up until this point, like, we would actually get separate gifts for like our parents, like from each other, right? Like, I would get his mom something and he would get his mom something. And now we're going to like focus on getting joint gifts together. And so getting all of that captured as well. Anybody that Sam gives gifts to regularly. So that is something that I really want to work on this year. And that just, it felt totally separate from spending time with my friends and family. So I broke it out. The next goal on my list is to plan and enjoy our honeymoon. And this is just one of those fun goals. One of those goals that I know by putting it in my power sheets, I will prioritize it more and not just say like, oh, it'll happen. And then we put it off and then we go to book things and they're already booked or whatever it is. So I want to get started on it now, and I want to make sure that we're prioritizing that trip together and getting ready for it and then enjoying it. This one is also a goal that I know will fall off. There might be goals that you have that won't span the entire year. And this is one of those goals for me. Like, we are planning to go on our honeymoon in July/August. So I know that this goal will be done by then. And that is like, that's okay. It's actually also one of the reasons why I have 2 green colored goals, because I know this goal is gonna fall off and then I will just have the other green. So that other green goal is to prepare to start a family. And I know I've mentioned this in a few places before. A lot of you have asked me in the past if Sam and I plan to start a family. That is something that is on our horizon. This is one of those goals too that is going to have some very specific focuses for every quarter of the year and has a lot of components. It's not just about actually starting a family. It has things like, oh, getting married, like that's step 1 in the first quarter. And then doing things like getting our wills in place and like just, you know, those kinds of things that we need to do to prepare for that next phase of our family. The next goal on my list is the health related goal for the year, and I have decided to again be very simple with my word choices and just say continue to lose weight. If you watch my 2021 goals check-in video, I am very proud of the progress I made on this goal in 2021, but I'm not there. I'm not to where I want to be. And so that is something I'm going to continue to focus on next year, and something that I wanted to, again, be very explicit about. This is what I'm doing. I'm focusing on continuing to lose weight. And I like using the word continue because it reminds me that I did it once already. Like, you can do this. I did it for a whole year. I made progress that I was proud of. So continue to do that. Continue to prioritize it and make those decisions that you made last year and can carry that into the new year. Instead of just writing like lose weight again, felt like I didn't acknowledge the progress that I made in the prior year. I know some of you have asked me before, how do you carry over goals and keep them exciting or still keep them slightly different? And that is an example of it. It's definitely something that I'm carrying over from year to year, but I'm adding in something different to it just to make myself feel proud of the progress that I have made. And then the last goal I originally had grouped with the honeymoon, and I had called it like having fun or something like that. But I, again, wanted it to be separate and be very specific. And that is to create and make progress on a New York City bucket list. This is something else that we've mentioned a few places, or I've mentioned a few places. We don't plan to stay here forever. We love New York and we've loved our time here, and we love our friends here. And there's a lot of things about New York that we love, but we also would love to be closer to family, especially as we start our own family. And so our time in New York is dwindling, and I want to make sure that anything that we want to do while we're here, and whether that's seeing people, seeing shows, going to do certain New York City type things, that we check those off now. I also have to remind myself, like, New York City's not going anywhere, Laken. We are planning to move to Chicago. I think I mentioned that before as well. That's our long-term plan. It's not that far. Like, it's not that long of a flight. We can come back and visit, and like, these things aren't necessarily going to go anywhere. Some of the shows might, so maybe I do need to make sure we get on that. But it's not one of those things that, like, if I don't get to all the things this year, it's not the end of the world, but something that I would like to focus on and prioritize this year. All right, that is it. Those are my 2022 goals. I'm so excited to get started on them and share with you how I'm kind of tackling Q1 a little bit differently, and then all my action steps for January. Let me know in the comments, what is your #1 goal for 2022? I know you probably have more than one. If you're here, we like goals in this community, but I want you to let me know, what's the #1 goal that you're excited about or that you are going to prioritize in 2022. If I had to pick one off of my list, it would probably be the prepare to start a family goal. That one just feels like I'm ready, it's here, and I'm excited to start focusing on that. So let me know down in the comments what yours is. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching. So let's get into it. Not like the goal at a whole. I don't think any of that made sense. The next goal on my list, because I'm nervous to talk about this one. You shocked that I'm annoyed with my hair?